Hey guys, Cookie here. It has been a while for us, and Helldivers too. We took a bit of a sabbatical, kind of like the Helldivers team. Since they went on vacation throughout July, we also did. But vacation time is over because Helldivers 2 is gearing up big time with a brand new Warbond trailer. So as always, I'm going to break down all the new content that this Warbond will bring, and then afterwards, Swany will join me to discuss all of it and what this will add to the game overall. So let's get started. First off, there is the weapons. This Warbond will have two new primary weapons as well as a secondary. The first primary weapon is the SG-451 Cookout. It reads "Burn Baby Burn," a pump-action shotgun that unleashes a burst of incendiary phosphorus pellets at your helpless enemies. So this will be our second fire-based shotgun in the game, joining the Breaker Incendiary, so we'll have to see what makes this gun different than that one. The other primary that was shown in this footage is the Flam 66 Torture. The Torture is a lightweight flamethrower shooting pressurized fuel through a nozzle into a roaring open flame. Sounds safe? It isn't. Watch where you're standing. Essentially a primary version of the flamethrower. I'm assuming it will be less powerful than the support weapon flamethrower, but otherwise it's hard to tell what the differences will be. And then there's the secondary weapon, the P-72 Crisper. It's a flamethrower that fits in your pocket for the Helldiver on the go. What will those guys think of next? This lovely compact handgun projects a jet of freedom flames over short distances. So the Crisper is a short-range flamethrower, which frankly sounds extremely dangerous, but it does have a cool design and a cool name. There are two new armors and capes that were added as well. The I-09 Heat Seeker proudly displays the burnished blood red plates that were forged in righteous fire, like the heroes they were wrought to protect, a true vision of democracy. And the I-102 Draconaut. The description says, there's nothing quite like those satisfying screeches as the enemies of freedom burn. Enjoy it all in this 14cm sheathed silica fiber foam armor with an exclusive tube-to-ear feature. This part isn't mentioned in the trailer, but these armors also come with an armor passive called Inflammable. Enjoy 75% damage resistance to fire as you run headfirst into danger like the unstoppable legend your mom said you'd be. Yeah, those armor and weapons are definitely meant for each other because without this armor, you'll probably be burned alive. There are two new capes called Purifying Eclipse and The Breach, which both come with little descriptions that have some lore attachment to them that you could read on screen if you want to. A new skin for the Hellpod Exosuit and Shuttle called Safety Orange, which looks honestly pretty awesome. Orange is one of my favorite colors. There's a new booster that comes with the Warbond that isn't shown in the trailer, which is called Firebomb Hellpods. It says scorch the earth and anything else below as you touch down with attitude and ignite the drop site. I would imagine if you have this equipped without the armor passive mentioned earlier, you may set yourself on fire as well, so be careful. 3 new emotes and victory poses are also coming. There is Big Stretch, Deep Reflection, and Thoracic Collision Maneuver, which is a co-emote, which was also seen in the trailer. Freedom's Flame is rolling out to your Destroyer's Acquisitions panels on August 8th, so ramp up the temperature to fry up some tasty justice, served with a side order of delicious grilled democracy. Tonight we dine and dive in hell. Okay, so that's the entire blog post and the trailer, so now I'm going to bring Swany in here to talk about it in a little bit more detail. Swany, first question, just overall first impressions of the Warbond trailer and how excited for it are you?
Well, I'm super excited because I know the community has been asking for more flamethrower stuff, more fire, and some clothing items to make us damage resistance to fire. It's interesting that it's only 75% when the other armor set is 95% damage resistance to the arc thrower and arc damage, and this is only 75. But I mean, there's a lot of fire in this Warbond, and it's going to lead to a lot of accidental deaths. I can already see it.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they did enough with 75%, because that's a good point. I didn't connect the fact that the arc resistant armor is 95. That is kind of weird. I don't know why they would do that. I think obviously this game enjoys a little bit of friendly fire. I mean, that's part of the fun of this game, but this might be pushing it a little far because people are going to kill themselves so often. It might lose the fun and just be a pain in the ass. I don't know where the line is between the two, but I think this is going to get close to that. Obviously, places with fire tornadoes like Hellmire are going to be absolute disasters. That's just that much more of a concern. And I think part of it is, I know they did a huge nerf on this not that long ago, but fire in general kills you still really, really quickly. And sometimes it doesn't register that you're even walking over fire. It's hard to know what is fire and what isn't, because sometimes it's not showing up, but it's actually still there. There's probably a lot of tuning this is going to need. I mean, because imagine if you don't wear the fire-resistant armor. Can you even use these weapons? You just burst into flames constantly.
Yeah, I can't imagine a full team of everyone with primary flamethrowers, secondary flamethrowers, the support flamethrower. That's one thing I don't understand is, like, how are these weapons, like the FLA M66 Torture, how is that going to be different than the flamethrower support weapon that we already have?
Yeah. Like,
are we just going to have 2 flamethrowers? Like, there's going to be a lot of fire.
I mean, like I said, I assume that the flamethrower is going to do more damage, or else it's going to be useless in comparison. So I imagine the Torture won't do as much damage. Maybe it has less range. And I mentioned this too about the Crisper. It's supposed to have short range. A short range flamethrower? I mean, the support weapon flamethrower is dangerous enough, and it shoots pretty far. If these two weapons both shoot closer up, it's going to be almost impossible not to ignite yourself into flames.
Yeah.
It can't even go that far to reach an enemy, and that's going to be completely useless against the bots. I would assume against the automatons, flamethrower is already not necessarily the best thing for automatons, but these two weapons I imagine will do very poorly against automatons because they just aren't going to have range really at all.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as my big concern for this Warbond, is that it doesn't look like we're getting anything to really help out against the automatons, because fire damage it's not a really good option against the automatons, because you want to kind of keep your distance with the automatons, and if you have to be up close and personal with a flamethrower, it just never really goes over too well. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe these weapons are just buffed like crazy against the automatons because they knew this was going to be a problem. But, you know, on paper, it just doesn't look like this is going to be an automaton warbond, which is, you know, kind of concerning. But I mean, we already have a problem in the game where everybody likes to go against the bugs anyway, and it kind of makes it hard to complete some of those major orders. So I don't know if that's going to make more people play against the bugs, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit over the top on bug heavy. I think if anything needed help, it was still probably the automatons. They've had some stuff semi-recently that's been kind of more helpful for automatons than for the Terminids, but they still probably need more. Because it's just the fact the automatons don't bunch together like the Terminids do. So in general, a fire weapon is obviously not going to be as useful against them no matter what the damage numbers are. So it's definitely not going to be useful against the automatons, I think, no matter what, unless they reveal it's actually a sniper rifle or something. So it's definitely not going to be a very good automaton weapon. I'm also curious how the Breaker Incendiary and the new Cookout are going to be different guns. I wonder how it shoots in a different way, because they both shoot fiery pellets. I mean, maybe the burst is bigger in the Cookout as opposed to the Breaker, and it's more for close up than the Breaker is. I don't know, because otherwise they might just be two of the exact same gun.
Well, I think the new Cookout weapon, it's got the same model as the Punisher shotgun, and the Punisher hits harder than the Breaker does. The Breaker's more of like crowd control, and the Punisher's more for like individual targets. So I feel like this Cookout is probably going to do a lot of fire damage to individual targets and less to like large crowds like the Incendiary Breaker shotgun does. So I think that's probably what the difference is going to be.
Well, if that's the case, that would be a little more useful against the automatons probably, as opposed to the Breaker Incendiary. So maybe that's kind of a way that it would be better against automatons if it's more individual based.
So what do you think of the cosmetics? How do you feel about orange everything?
I personally love the color orange. It's just a color I really enjoy. Overall, though, I haven't been a big fan of how they've done the cosmetics, because I feel like that's something where they should release like 3 or 4 options. Like I've said a million times, I'm not a coder. I don't understand how difficult it is to add something like that. I would think it's not that hard. So I would think that's something like each Warbond I'd have like 2 or 3 options, even if they're kind of similar, like orange with a little black, orange with a little white, orange with a little yellow. I wouldn't think that would be that hard. I mean, like usually games have like a crap ton of shaders for different customization options. So I'm kind of surprised they're doing one at a time over like 2 months. That's the disappointing part. As far as it being orange, I like I really like the color orange. It's just, I'd like more options because you're not really standing out at all because there's only 2 options right now in 3 months. I kind of wish they'd add more options each Warbond.
Yeah. So I'm a little let down with the cosmetics as well, but I do like to see that we're getting more weapons. It's interesting to see that we aren't getting any throwables, like there's no grenades or anything in this Warbond.
It's kind of surprising. I mean, we definitely don't need another flame grenade. So to go with the pattern they were doing in this Warbond, that wouldn't have made sense. But yeah, it's the first time we're not getting a throwable, so that is kind of surprising.
And this, they're also adding a new booster called Fiery Drop, which, you know, it says it scorches the earth and anything else below when you touch down. Now, I don't know if that's going to just send out a burst of flame or if it's going to ignite the ground. Because if the ground's ignited, as soon as you spawn, I feel like you're just going to catch yourself on fire and die. So that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to, like, land in large crowds of enemies now versus, like, before you would want to land on an individual, like, Bile-Titan or Charger. Now, with this fiery, you know, Hell Pods, that might be worth using against large crowds.
Yeah, I mean, according to the blog post, it does say scorch the earth and anything else below as you touch down. So it sounds like it's going to ignite the ground. If that's the case, how do you not die instantly? I mean, even if you have the fire-resistant armor, you still might die as soon as you get your Hell Pod. I like the idea of it, but I hope that you, even though it might not technically make sense, I hope that when you get out, you can't burn for like 5 seconds or something. Because otherwise, there'd be no reason to use it. You would just kill yourself over and over. But I do like the idea of weaponizing the Hell Pod in a way other than just to hit like big targets. Now you have a reason to hit a big bunch of tiny targets.
Yeah,
I do like that.
You have to be way more careful now where you decide to land, because if you land next to your teammates, they're probably going to burst into flames.
Yeah, I see a lot of ways that this is not a good booster, though. I see more problems with this booster than positives, to be honest.
But overall, I'm pretty excited for this Warbond. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to play around with all this fire stuff. You know, the community's been asking for this for months, and we finally got it. And next week's going to be massive. We get the big update on Tuesday. We get this Warbond on Thursday. There's going to be tons of patch notes and things we got to test out and balancing changes. And next week is just going to be absolutely massive for Helldivers, and I cannot wait. We're going to have tons of videos covering everything. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you don't miss out on any of those future Helldivers 2 videos.
Sabbatical is over.
Yeah, it was a nice little break. I'm glad that, you know, it was much needed for us because we were working our butts off for a while there. So, but now we're back, and I'm excited. I'm glad to finally be back making videos. It was, like I said, it was nice to have a little break, but now we're back into it, and I can't wait to see what's coming in the future. But that is going to do it for everything in today's video, guys. If you guys are new here, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications that we don't miss out on any future videos. And that is going to do it for us, and we will talk to you all next time. So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.